So there seemed to be a great misconception over the week about whether or not episode 868 of One Piece was actually going to air this weekend, because I guess there was a false alarm on social media. Some of you guys may have seen it, I did. And I was going to make a video about it until for sure that was the case. Obviously, since I'm doing a review, that's not the case at all. In fact, the episode titles for the next 4 episodes have been kind of revealed. Now, for me personally, it's not really much of a spoiler considering I read the manga, so I know what's ahead, what to expect. So, you guys, anime onlys, you're in for a treat with this Luffy Katakuri conclusion to this fight. Speaking of Katakuri, this episode was all about his character development, I guess, and his quote-unquote resolve to continue this fight without having any more interference. But so it starts off, I guess, with a rehash of pretty much what happened in the previous episode with Flampe trying to fire this poisonous needle to paralyze Luffy in the leg. Didn't work because I think he sensed it and then he dodged it and then he fainted. And that's when Katakuri noticed, okay, there's some foul play going on here, and that's when you think, okay, what was Katakuri gonna do? I have to say this moment was kind of dragged out a little bit, especially when he was walking towards Flampe. I mean, obviously the events leading up to Luffy being pierced by his trident, his mole, I guess. Obviously, it clicked with Katakuri. Oh, this makes sense of why Luffy lost concentration. Is because he was numbed, he was paralyzed, so he couldn't do anything. So this ticked off Katakuri, thinking he needed the help to fight Luffy. But obviously, it triggers him even more. And what's interesting, what's even more satisfying is you think Flampe is actually going to be praised for this. Like, Katakuri gets pissed off, you know what's going to happen, but in her mind, she thinks she was going to be revered for it. Oh, you're the best, sister. By the way, beforehand, it wasn't that too long ago when Charlotte Pudding was the most hated of the Big Mom pirates, I would think, besides Big Mom. That's not the case at all anymore. I mean, I think Pudding is one of the most beloved characters. Talk about complete turnaround in a year. Obviously goes to Flampe, because I've seen the hate coming Flampe's way. Believe me, this happened in the manga too. And I said it before, when a character was introduced, she's going to have a negative impact on Katakuri fans, especially because she turned the tide of the fight in Luffy's favor, if you want to call it that. It's more or less on an even playing field now because of both stab wounds in their chest. Katakuri decided to even up the playing field, but everything leading up to that was kind of like stalling and I guess slow paced in my opinion. But I guess it told the story what it needed to do, especially by how this episode ended. Then I'm going to let it go, because what we have coming up is pretty darn epic. I'm going to say that. Don't interfere in a fight between men. I love the way he just said that. Obviously, this is a duel between men, so you can't interfere. And Katakuri proceeds to stab himself with his trident, and I love that scene. Obviously, it went black and white, but obviously told the story. Like, he was looking at even the playing field. He has his pride that stab himself, and obviously Luffy's like, yo, you fool, you crazy or something? He gets traumatized because you have blood all over. Everybody's like freaked out. What the hell's going on here? This isn't Katakuri. This isn't my big bro. How perfect he's supposed to be. And this is how fangirls turn out to be, unfortunately, and I guess fanboys to a certain extent. When you have an admirer who looks up to I guess a celebrity, for quote unquote example, and when it seems like they're meeting them in person and they don't appear to be what they thought, the attitude completely changes, and that's what happens with Flampe. Oh, you're not Katakuri, and he even takes off his scarf, I guess, and reveals his mouth to Flampe for the first time, and she's like, oh, mocking him, saying, oh, you look like an eel, you pelican eel, just mocking his looks. And we actually get a shot of him as a child, which kind of brings it home. It's very reminiscent to what happens with Pudding, where she got mocked in her childhood for having a third eye, so you can kind of understand where Katakuri's coming from. Same thing with Pudding, not condoning the actions, but you kind of get the feel of, okay, this is what happened in the childhood. It makes them more relatable as characters now, so I appreciate that. And he just walked away from Flampe again. That obviously that scene was dragged out when he was walking towards Luffy. As on the sidelines are just they're an eyesore, they're annoying, so let's deal with that. Both of them Haki up, Conqueror's Haki, and even Flampe's like, oh, Monkey Boy's got King's Haki now, just like Katakuri, so that's confirmed that Yoko Commander has Conqueror's Haki, which shouldn't be too much of a shock. But I guess a lot of people were stunned, especially when it happened in the manga. Both of them Haki up, knock out the father, and it was a long time coming. So they're out of the fight. So this is now one-on-one, like it should be. And like I said, I think this is like a cop out when it came to Oda. A lot of people didn't like this because obviously it gives Luffy an excuse to get back in the fight when he didn't seem to be a match for a Yonko commander at this point in time. But if you go with what Katakuri said in this episode, that may be Oda speaking through Katakuri about Luffy's progression. Then that's the first half of the episode. Like I said, it was drawn out a little bit too much, but I appreciate the music. By the way, that new music we got with Katakuri's soundtrack was epic. It was introduced in the previous episode, and you could tell the hype was coming, especially when it kicked in. And the father and Flampe get knocked out, thinking she could actually take out both. That's kind of a mistake on her part, and she pays for it. They're all knocked out by the end of this episode. Then we go over to where Big Mom is, and boy oh boy, talk about things changing. Chiffon are still on the run with the wedding cake. They're thinking about going to Lacourt Island, and Chiffon's like, no, we need to go further because as soon as she eats that cake, she's going to be back to her senses, and she's going to be too close to the Sunny, so we need to get them as far away from Nami and company as possible, even if we die in the process. I want to repay my debt to the Straw Hats, so that's kind of cool. And speaking of Straw Hats, they're like dodging blows from Smoothie, who I guess is like draining like subordinates, and even the other sisters as well, like talking to Smoothie, like, you're going too far here, you're like killing your own subordinates to like grow even bigger. So that's an interesting technique, and for the first time, I guess since the Reiju fight, Smoothie's actually doing something. Self-grow even bigger with shockwaves just coming at the Sunny. I love the teamwork. You have Jinbei steering the ship. You have Jinbei saying to Nami, oh, tell me in the direction which the shockwaves are coming from so I can dodge it. So you have Nami saying, I'll take responsibility for it. So I love that teamwork aspect. And even when she grew even bigger, it seemed like impossible to dodge. She's like, go to the right. Boom, they managed to evade Smoothie's attack, and then it goes back to where it needed to be, in the real world with Luffy Katakuri. And this is where the episode, unfortunately it's at the end of the episode, but it picks up. Especially when Katakuri's like, I apologize for Flampe and the others interfering. No, don't worry about it, because between pirates there's no such thing as dirty tactics. So I love that from Luffy. He's not making excuses. That's just Luffy through. And you got Katakuri like, in the end, I'll win. And then they both assume the posing. I guess like two boxers would get down the stance and duke it out. It's like the same thing here with Luffy Katakuri. It's in the finishing stages of this fight. Katakuri takes the best off, so he goes from Katakuri, and I love the speech from Katakuri. He's like, Luffy, you're no longer weaker than me. You're at my level, even though technically speaking that may not be true, but it's the compliment from Luffy, from Katakuri, like saying thanks, I appreciate that, but in the end I win. He's up with his fists. Luffy goes in, charges it, he gets decked with a hand, and I love the art style and the animation, especially when the two looks like the blow's about to connect, and Luffy gets the blow it first, but then he finds a way to actually get another blow in Katakuri, and which how the episode ends with both of them going ham. I guess the focus is pretty much on observation Haki from the part of Luffy, and like I said, been saying from the beginning of this fight, the fact that Katakuri has similar Devil Fruit properties of Luffy, as well as future outside observation Haki, is going to be like a learning lesson for Luffy, because like Grayling stated, you train a certain level, but it only blossoms even further if you find a great test like Katakuri or greater foes that are to come. So I love that aspect, and it looks like it's going to be diving into that next week, and it looks like Luffy's going to be mastering Call of Observation Haki. Then it's going to lead into the final round, Luffy versus Katakuri. It looks like it's going to be ending in February, but from the way he's thought about this fight, from an anime perspective, and I guess through an adaptation perspective, for those fans who've read the manga, I personally think this is one of the best fights post-time skip. It was like that in the manga, but I think they hit the home run. Yeah, there have been certain pacing issues, but either way, I think the positives outweigh the negatives, in my opinion, but that's me. Let me know what you guys think down below. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Like this review if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more One Piece. Catch you guys later. Bye.